Recently, Mishcat released a new farm, the IKEA V2, and this farm allegedly is really overpowered, making over 60 mil an hour. So in this video, I will be testing that farm to see if it actually is as good as Mishcat advertised, and also make sure to join my Discord and like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. So for those who do not know what IKEA V2 is, it is a farm designed by Mishcat, and it was designed and posted on his channel around 2 weeks ago. And I'll be linking that in the description in case you want to see that. So this farm allegedly makes 63 mil an hour according to Mishcat, and it's an upgraded version of the IKEA V1. It has a better bone support system instead of the bone block system used by the IKEA V1. So I would say it's probably better than the IKEA V1. However, I haven't tested it, but I will test it during this video. So that's pretty much the information about the IKEA V2. Obviously, before I can start testing, I would first need to build an IKEA V2. So my friends dug out a good portion of this, however, I will help them finish this up. So this is my massive dugout area. I'm planning to have eventually a few modules of IKEA V2 along with a lot of smokers. So this is the digging portion. Okay, so now I've finished digging and placing all the walls with moss. I will now start building the IKEA V2. So it was actually a really hard build because of all the redstone components. It took me around an hour, and yeah, if you guys plan to build it, I'm just going to inform you that it does take a while, especially if you're not very good at building redstone. Okay, so I finally finished building it. It took around an hour, as I said before, and now it's done. This is my green dugout area. I think the green resembles kelp, so that's why I made it green. And then, yeah, so this is the IKEA V2. It even has the IKEA colors. There are, I think, 6 dispensers per one of those little modules, or no, 8. And there are 9 total modules, which means there are a total of 72 of these things across the entire farm. 72 of the dispensers. So assuming all these dispensers are powered, they should make a good amount, and I'll be testing it. So instead of what I did last time, this time I will be making sure that all the dispensers are powered. I will be therefore going through every single dispenser and placing around a stack of bone meal in each one, because last time y'all flooded my comments with how I didn't test the farm properly, and I realized my mistakes. So now I'll be powering all of them all at once. And that was the bone loader area, and this is the bone crafters. This IKEA V2 can now be powered by bones according to Mishcat. And yeah, just make sure that the bone is like that. And then I will be testing this and seeing how much it makes. But first, I will have to put every single dispenser with bones. So let me do that. Obviously, before I can put any bones into the farm, I'll have to first buy the bones. So I just checked bone prices, and they have rose significantly. They used to be 100 when I started with IKEA V1, and now bones are 120, even more. So they're around 120, which means they grew around 20 bones each. And now I will be making orders. So let me just buy bones. No, not that's. Let's just buy 1,536. That's exactly. I did the math. And now the price, 122, which is one more than the current ones. And bones, select, that's a whole total of 180k. So I better make more than 180, 190k, or I make no profit on this farm. So instantly the bones get delivered, and now I will use those bones to fill the dispensers. Okay, so I painstakingly filled every single dispenser with 1 stack of bone meal in the back to prevent y'all from like spamming my comments with how I didn't test the farm properly. So this time I better not see any comments about that. But anyway, look, all these are filled with 1 stack of bone meal each, every single one. So when I power the farm, they will have 1 stack of bone meal to power it. And I built a small storage system and like a small collection system over here, and basically that's where I temporarily collect the kelp. However, if you want a really big farm, you obviously want smokers here, and obviously a way bigger collection system, maybe even a shulker loader. But for this simple test, I'm just going to use these 3 chests connected with the hopper. So now I will go over here and power on the farm. So the lever is over here, and if I press the lever, it should power all these. And also I did some tests, and I discovered that kelp will not grow if it's already fully grown with bone meal. So no bone meal will be wasted. Okay, now all the kelp should be coming down, and oh, that's a lot of kelp. This looks like it has a higher producing efficiency than the IKEA V1. It produces so much that a single hopper isn't enough. Look, it's like flooding my inventory. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna put all the kelp here, and okay. Oh, that's a lot of kelp. Holy. That's a whole crap ton of kelp. Okay, I think I'm putting too much in the first chest. Well, yeah, that's a lot of kelp. Wait, okay. And all the dispensers full of one bone meal each have been used. That's actually really surprising. That was like under a minute. And now let's just see how much kelp we made. Okay, so I just packed up all the kelp into chokers. However, I'll be testing from the profits if you were to use a smoker. Because I was too lazy to build a smoker, I'm just going to see the prices. So kelp is around 50 each, so I'll be putting these in there, and that's 200k. So without smoking all the kelp, we have made a total of 30k profit from the 190k. So that's 30k profit. And let's just see how much we have if we had dried kelp. Dried kelp is around double the price of normal kelp. So instead of the 200k that we got from not smoking the kelp, we would have gotten a good 400k. 400k minus the bone costs, that would get us around 220k net profit, meaning you subtract the cost of the bones. That would be around 200k in around 40 seconds, which is a total of around 20 million an hour. So you might be telling me that 20 million is far off from the advertised 70 million that Mishkad said during his video. However, 20 million is the net profit, meaning you subtract the price of the bones. If you have your own skellies, then the profit every hour would be around 420k every 40 seconds, which is around 40 mil an hour. So 40 mil, although it's not close to 70 mil, it is somewhat close to 60 mil, and you cannot really blame Mishkat for this, because bone prices have rose significantly since the IKEA V1 was released. So overall, I would say that IKEA V2 is a really good farm, making up to 20 mil an hour. However, this is not to count the amount of time the smokers take and the bone storage. In reality, this farm might only make around 15 mil an hour and make a total of 80 mil every night because of the lack of storage for the bones and for the time required to smelt the kelp. However, 80 mil a night is still really good, especially for people who have less than 1 bill and can help them get 1 bill really fast within a week. So anyway, I would rate this farm a 9 out of 10. It's good for beginners, easy to build, and makes a decent amount. Anyway guys, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.